Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest and welcome to December 2024. There's about 22 minutes left of trading today. That includes a closing auction. And I suppose today can be categorized as an okay day, unless you haven't invested in mining. Looks like resources down a little bit today. But if you haven't invested in tech and in even small caps, you've had a pretty good day, I think. Small caps up 0.83 and all tech up 1.18. Okay, the agenda of today's video, and I'm going to be pretty honest with you, pretty brutal. When it comes to announcements, today was fairly boring, but I have come up with the top 5 stocks of the day. I've yet to record the stock of the day, which is HMC Capital, and I will be doing an ASX small cap of the day video. That's on a company that has just changed their name, and the name, well, the ticker code is CC5, and the name of that company is because Clever Culture Systems. I saw an announcement from this company, went, I've never heard of this company. I don't think it's a recent listing or IPO because I probably would have known. No, they just changed the name, LBT Innovations. And I've decided that is the small cap of the day because they did a deal selling some stuff to AstraZeneca. And I do have a history with this company, a long history, which I might discuss in that particular video. Anyway, so other companies I'll be looking at or talking about in the top 5 stocks include Acusensus, Bluebet, Droneshield, and Magellan. A few other companies were quite close to getting into the top 5, including Fonterra and Phoenix and Clinivel, but they did not make it. Do better, companies. Do better. I might have a look at the charts after I've gone through the top 5 stocks of the day. Have a look at step 1. I did sell one trading position, that's Duratec, and I'm thinking of buying a few other positions, but I might do that either, maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow. And before I do all that, I also might have a look at a few of the comments, but before I do that, I'm going to talk about what happened yesterday. I completely ignored it when it comes to GDP and GDP growth. A few interesting tweets. Also look at Sydney Morning Herald article, which had a really interesting title. In fact, let's do that right now. This is a Sydney Morning Herald article, Sad Economy Without Hope, Deepest Hit to Living Standards on Record. So even though we're not in recession, we have seen 7 consecutive quarters where GDP per capita has decreased. And by my definitions, that is recession because our living standards have been dropping 7 quarters in a row. The only reason the country hasn't gone into recession is because of government spending and immigration. So this is an interesting little article talking about here. You just see this. What is this? This would be gross domestic product. How it's just been dropping, being really low the last 6 or 7 quarters. Hence, because of immigration, GDP per capita has been dropping. Annual growth is at 0.8%, which outside of COVID-19 is the economy's worst performance since the recession of 1990 to 91. In per capita terms, the economy went backwards by another 0.3%, marking a record 7th consecutive quarter of falling GDP per person. Net national income per person has now fallen by 2.2% or $1,660 over the past year. This is not good. Not good at all. Chalmers, who probably always puts some positive spins on things, said the figures showed real incomes were growing for Australians due to a slowdown in inflation and the government stage 3 tax cuts, which started in July. While arguing the government was working its tail off to improve the economic outlook, he conceded most people continue to face substantial cost of living pressures. Yes. So that's probably why, I think, who said this? Someone did say it, and it's quoted in here. Where is it? It was an analysis or someone. The chief economics at EY, which must be Ernest Young, Cheryl Murphy, said the figures painted a picture of a sad economy without much hope. Yes, without much hope. And now a few tweets. In fact, I'll just expand this. Scott Phillips, he's fairly active on Twitter, and I do like some of his tweets. He gets into fights with people, and understandably so, because a lot of tweeters are pretty much idiots. And I'm going to say that. A lot of tweeters, a lot of his responses to people who respond to him are pretty much idiots. So 7th consecutive quarter of GDP per capita recession, 3 months short of 2 years. Economic activity weak, not good overall, but probably good news for the chance of rate cuts. Government spending propping up both inflation and total Spending, yes. If we didn't have government spending, I think things would be significantly worse. And that's also true in the United States. Louis Christopher, real gross household disposable income per capita. The rest of the OECD is going up. We have now have been dropping now for a few years. So it's looking pretty dire when we compare ourselves to the rest of the OECD. I do work with someone from Poland, and I would probably guess, and this is just me guessing, putting words in their mouth, they probably want to move back to Poland. Poland is booming. I just can't believe what's happening in Poland. It's booming. In fact, let's just Google that. Poland booming. Poland, I'm not sure what's happening. Haven't really delved too deeply in it. Imagine an economy that not only survived the global pandemic, but thrived, reaching new heights in growth and innovation. That's Poland, with a 6.8% GDP growth in 2021 and record high foreign direct investment. Yeah, so AI overview. It's just, yeah, I keep hearing or reading articles on Poland and just how well they're doing. So maybe that's the place to be, in Poland. What else do we have here? Tarek Broker, aka avid commentator, just talking about GDP per capita, and we should be focusing on that, in my opinion, because that's the real state of how we are feeling as individuals. It's not GDP, it's GDP per capita. That's the real measure of whether or not in a recession. That's just my opinion. Because the government can manipulate GDP by increasing immigration, that sort of thing. And in fact, maybe that's why they actually have been doing what they've been doing with immigration the last few years, so we don't go into recession, to make themselves look a little bit better. Yes. Oh, this is from the other day. China bans exports to the United States of gallium, germanium, antimony, and other key high-tech materials. This has always been a concern over the last few years that China, in some of these elements, have, I wouldn't say stranglehold, maybe stranglehold is the right word, on some of these elements, and they have control. And we don't want China to have control. And maybe Trump, don't stir the tiger. Port of Stansbury, the last time US stocks were this overvalued versus the rest of the world was, well, never. I would probably strike back at this and say, well, by far the best companies in the world are American. And I'm not sure if we could have said that in the past, but definitely the companies you want to be invested in right now are American companies. So that's what I would say in reply to that. And Elon Musk has said federal government overspending is what causes inflation. Do you agree? To an extent. To an extent, yes, to an extent. Anyway, so that's some tweets that I did find interesting over the last few days. So I completely missed that. Yes, not missed it. I was going to talk about it and then I just bypassed it. Sometimes that will happen. Okay, so let's have a look at the ASX today. And I have lost my, where is it? Well, by the way, Bitcoin's above 100,000. Yes. The only reason I knew that is because there was an article in Capital Brief about it. Somewhere here. Yeah, Bitcoin hits 100,000 as Trump fuels crypto optimism. I read it and I didn't believe it, so I had to look at TradingView. And yes, it's well above 100,000, 103,000. And if you look at the chart, this was always going to happen. I'm not sure, wasn't sure when. It could have been a while, but yeah, it's broken above $100,000 over the past 24 hours. Ethereum, I noticed Ethereum was up big yesterday, while Bitcoin was not. Yeah, so Ethereum was up, was it 6.22% yesterday? It was a really significant move by Ethereum. So even Ethereum is looking really good. Okay, so let's go to the ASX today. Now, time is currently 2:56. So about 3 minutes left of trading today, and 1 day and 3 minutes left of trading this week. Today's Thursday, isn't it? I'm pretty sure today's Thursday. A really good day for tech. Yeah, tech significantly outperformed the XAO, XJO. And if I had my choice, I'd be more heavily invested in tech companies than non-tech companies. That's maybe just me because, yeah, there's more likely for significant growth in tech companies. That's not only true here, but it's also true around the world. Tech is the future. Okay, so let's have a look at the sectors. In fact, if you have a look at the last month, IT up 12.1%, discretionary 9.88%, materials down 2%. Now, that might change in the next month, but over the past, let's have a look at the last 2024 year to date, IT up 60.85%, materials down, energy down. 52 weeks, yeah, same thing. Anyway, you might argue that everything reverts to the mean, and that's just means more likely IT will underperform in the next year, and materials and utilities or energy will outperform in the next year. Maybe you are right. Looks like gold had a pretty good day, by the way, up 3%. Although I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Let's go back to the individual sectors today. IT's had a really good day. Discretionary, really good. Not sure what's happening there. And Staples also up. So maybe Wolves had a bit of a bounce. Otherwise, pretty bad day for real estate. Looks probably Goodman Group again. Pretty bad day for energy as well. But a really good day for gold. So sometimes you see materials down or mining down, but gold's had a really good day. Up 3%. So Bitcoin's had a really good day. Ethereum a really good day. Gold a really good day. Is that telling us anything? I'm just having a quick look at gold. Not sure why gold's had a really good day. Hasn't really taken off or anything. Interesting. I wonder if you do click on the XGD, do they have the list of the companies here? They don't. Okay. The last thing I want to just do is have a very quick look at the ASX 20. In fact, it's down. There you go. It's down. So if you're heavily invested in the bigger companies on the ASX, you probably haven't had a good day. So down 0.03%. And why has that happened? Let's have a look. I'd say 10 companies up, 10 down. So 8 down, 12 up, which is telling me the bigger companies in the ASX have had a bad day. So if we look at the companies in the ASX 20 by market cap, yeah, we do see quite a bit of red there. CBA's had a good day, but BHP, CSL, NAB, and ANZ all down. BHP down 1.13%. And yeah, Goodman Group is down 1.62%. In fact, that might be the worst performing company. It is. Woodside down. And the best performing company in the ASX 20 is Pro Medicus, up 3.65%. Wait there. Was Pro Medicus always in the ASX 20? I don't think it was. It's just made it into it, according to this. There you go. So Pro Medicus up 3.65%. This is the first time it's been in the ASX 20. Don't they have to announce that? I have no idea. I thought they always announce this sort of thing. No, they didn't announce it. Anyway. So maybe the ASX 20 is really fluid and it changes from day to day. I didn't know that. I thought it was like the XGO and maybe the XAO are static for maybe 3 to 6 months. I thought the same thing was true for the ASX 20, but according to that, it's not true. Or maybe, yeah, I don't know. This is interesting. Interesting. Pro Medicus. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so let's have a look at the top gainers and top losers today. We'll focus first on the top gainers. And there's nothing here I really want to talk about. Yeah, there's Clever Culture Systems up 17.65%. That is the ASX small cap of the day. They have changed their name. I might talk about, let's have a look. What about LDX? Share price up 25.81%. Loomis received CPT PLA code for February DX in the US. Right over my head. And if an announcement goes over my head like this one, I probably will just ignore it because I'm a simple person. I like those simple announcements like profit upgrades when they're just one page. Now, this is only one page too, but obviously this must be pretty good for the company. February DX reimbursement rate of 4138 tests has been established by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services panel, will be published in the clinical lab fee. Okay, so we sort of know how much they're going to get paid for this February DX. Okay, so let's have a look at Loomis Diagnostics charts. I don't think I have seen this chart for a while. I'm just going to confirm that. LDX. So I'm assuming the share price is not an uptrend because this one hasn't been popping up for a long, long time. And yeah, so share price has been a downtrend. And the share price is rallied today. I'm not interested in this sort of chart because even though the share price has popped up, it's not a breakout or anything like that. And it's not on the back of one of my favorite types of announcements. That's exactly what I'm looking for, a breakout, either on the back of a really good announcement, like a profit upgrade, or I just see a shift in sentiment and a shift in the trend of the share price. And then I got on board, and then I'm hoping the company will release a profit upgrade in the future, which is what happened to Bravura. I got in before the profit upgrade, then they released a profit upgrade, and we've seen 2 really good days because the share price of Bravura was up again, up 9.25%. But we're in the closing auction, so it might drop a little bit. Okay. A few other companies have been trading on pretty good turnover, but most of these are mining companies. I'm going to ignore those and focus on Singular Health Group. Now, this company did pop up recently. So let's have a closer look at Singular Health Group. I can't remember if they did release anything today. They didn't. They released a presentation yesterday morning. Share price was flat. So this is probably a little bit of noise, but the chart is interesting. So I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. Yeah, this is the one. So we saw the share price sort of try to break out back in January of this year. I still remember that. And I'm pretty sure someone took a position in this company. It was like what do you call it? A strategic investor or strategic placement, something like that. I'm going to confirm that. I'm pretty sure it's this company. Okay. Here we go. CG1 Ventures Placement and R&D Advanced Funding, 8th of February. And I'm pretty sure there was a pretty good reaction from the market, 8th of February. Or maybe it was just before that. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm getting maybe something mixed up here. But on the 1st of February, share price of this company rose 59.6% and did get to a price of about 18 cents. Share price then sort of drifted downward. You can see the lower volume, decreasing volume. So little interest in this company. And then all of a sudden the company looks like it might have, the interest has increased again. And that was on the 20th of November when the company did announce capital raising an MOU with PNS for commercial pilots. So it seems like the market did like that, and the chart does look better right now. The thing I really like here is really good volume coming in since that announcement. Really good, consistent volume. You can see the volume back in January and February. It wasn't that consistent. You can see big spikes and then really low volume days. This volume is more consistent. So I actually do like this chart for Singular Health Group. Other than that, nothing much here that is of interest to me. Yep. Let's have a look by market cap, see if there's any more interesting companies here. So Ramelius Resources. So Gold's had a really good day. So this is maybe one of the reasons Gold's had a really good day. I did see they did release something. Ramelius participation in Spartan Resources capital raising. So Spartan Resources have done a capital raising. And the other thing is Spartan Resources had a good day too. So capital raising looks good. And there's Bravura Solutions up 8% on another good day for that company. Restaurant Brands New Zealand up 8.2% on fairly low turnover. Now this company is illiquidly traded. Did they release something? I have a feeling they did. Oh, just dividend. Okay, I don't care about that. Let's go back to the top gainers. Sky Network Television. Orthocell, another pretty good day. So it looks like I've timed that entry or my entry into that company quite well, just based off the last 2 days. And SKS Technologies up to $2 again. And Bluebet. Bluebet is in my top 5 stocks. I'm just going to have a quick look at SKS Technologies just because the chart for this one has been all over the place. I did watch the Carl Carpalingo's video on Monday. There was a big down day. I think it was on Monday. And someone was saying, well, I think this is a get out. Maybe not completely, but this was a sell signal. For me, that's not a sell signal when you have that one big down day because you can see the share price has rallied since then. It's back up to where it started. So those sort of big down days don't really concern me. But for some traders, it does. And that is a get out. So whatever floats your boat, whatever strategy you have, and if that strategy works, go for it. Okay. Oh, Money Me up 7.7%. Go Money Me. Still waiting, although I am up 40% on that position. Anyway, let's have a look at the top losers today just to see if there's any surprises. A company called Lucapa Diamond Company down 35%. Now, fairly low turnover for these top 2 worst performing companies. So I'm going to ignore those 2 companies, Lucapa Diamond and Pro Packaging. I mentioned 29Metals yesterday. They're doing a capital raising, share price down at 26 cents. So below the capital raising price at 29% before. So the market doesn't like it. And I'm still waiting. I'll still wait. And I could be waiting for a few years before we see a return to positive sentiment behind that company. Petrotherm, really good day yesterday. Now a down day, maybe buy the dip situation for that company. Anything else of interest here? Not really. No, not really. So let's have a look at the top losers by market cap. Mesoblast. Didn't they get FDA something? I remember reading FDA. FDA grants Mesoblast RMAT designation and material announcement. Okay, what's this material announcement? What's happening here? Oh, okay. That's a weird one. So there was a pause because of that announcement. FDA grants, and I assume they thought the share price was going to rally. It did initially, and then it just dropped. I would say this is a bit of a trade thing for day traders. That's why it dropped. So a lot of day traders, or a lot of just traders say, so buy into the rumor, sell on the fact. So they saw this announcement and went, now's the time to sell. And we saw a little bit of selling coming in for Mesoblast today. And this is probably one of the reasons why I like to wait, just to see what happens. Yeah, so share price did open up higher, and we saw a significant amount of selling in the first 20 minutes of trading. Very big volume coming through. So that's interesting to see that selling coming in. And the other top losers today by market, Appen, share price all over the place. What else? Centurus Metals, Environmental Group. Let's have a look at the chart for that one. Yeah, let's have a look at the chart for Environmental Group. AEGL, I was very close to taking a position in this company, and I just held back. And I suppose I'm happy I held back. And when I say I was going to take a position, because the share price was in a really nice uptrend, I like this chart. I did like this chart, I should say. And I thought, oh, maybe I'll take a position. I was just wasn't that sure. So my conviction in this company was actually quite low, but I thought the chart looks pretty good. And then the share price started to go down. This could have been a nice little buy the dip situation back in October, but it wasn't. And there was two really big down days in a row on the 11th and 12th of November, and then the company released something negative on the 13th. That is just loose lips. That's a telltale sign that the news was in the wind and people were hearing it, because you saw the share price dive just before the negative announcement, and share price has kept on falling. So chart looked good, not anymore. Share price just keeps on falling. Can't remember what the negative announcement was. Was it a trading update? 13th of November, EGL. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it. I would have mentioned it. 13th of November, yeah, trading update. So it would have been a negative trading update. Anyway, so the market has fallen out of love with the Environmental Group. And I think another reason I'm not sure about this company is just because it seems like they just included the word environmental into the company's name to get more people, ESG people, to buy shares in the company. Sort of like the ethical AEF, Australian Ethical Fund. Just let's include the word ethical so people who want to buy, who want to trade or invest ethically can just buy our shares. Anyway. Okay, so that's top losers. Now let's get to the top 5 stocks of the day. And we'll start off with, what are we starting off with? Oh, Magellan Financial Group. Yeah, they released their funds under management today. Market liked it. The chart is starting to look really interesting for this company. Maybe a bit of a buy at trading. I am a little bit surprised the share price is up. I'll be honest with you. Now, there's 2 facets to funds under management. And the major facet is outflow, or whether the company has outflows or inflows. So you can see total funds under management actually increased from 38 billion to 39.1 billion. So you might be saying, well, that's the reason why the share price or the share price is up. But no, that's just sort of like performance. The most important thing here is whether the company has experienced outflows or inflows. And they're still experiencing outflows. So in November, Magellan experienced net outflows of 0.4 billion, which included net retail outflows of 0.2 and net institutional outflows of 0.2. Seems like the market just went, we don't care about that. We just care that the total funds under management have increased. And one of the reasons why it's increased in the past month is because the stock market is up a fair bit. I think it's up a fair bit. Anyway, the market doesn't care. And I think one of the possible other reasons the market doesn't care is because the chart looks pretty good. So I like this chart. This is a nice developing chart for Magellan Financial Group. And probably this is the first time We can say that for many years. Probably the last time we could have said that was maybe back in late 2020 when the share price was like $50. But this is the best this chart has looked for a while. So we've seen the share price move into sort of going sideways for a long period of time and starting to move into an uptrend. And I think we have confirmation the share price is an uptrend. So if you look at the peaks, so we now have two new higher highs, and even the lows are higher than the previous low. So higher highs, higher lows, definition of an uptrend. And not only that, share price at $12, we're talking about a multi-year high for the share price. So Magellan Financial Group chart actually looks really good. Now, I'm not sure if the market is reacting to the announcement right, but who am I to say? The market reacts how it wants to react. And even though they have outflows, if it was inflows, I could really understand it, but they're still experiencing some outflows. Anyway, so that's Magellan Financial Group. I thought it belongs in the top 5 simply because of the chart. On to number 4. This probably deserves to be a little bit higher. Droneshield. Share price is now down. So I was certain the share price was going to rise today. Absolutely certain, because they did release an announcement titled 8.2 million European contract. And I went, oh, okay. There is negative sentiment in this company right now. This might be the first step in maybe turning around that sentiment. No. At 10 a.m., they went to pause in trading. I was like, why? And then that pause in trading was around for 2 hours. So talk about a momentum killer. So you put yourselves into, well, they didn't put themselves in trading hold. I think they got direction from the ASX. The reason I say that is because if you have a look at the trading halt, reasons for the trading halt is requested pending announcement by the company in relation to additional information requested by the ASX. So that's why I said this was probably, forced by the ASX. So it wasn't really Droneshield's fault to the announcement dated, whatever it was, 8.2 million European contract. So if you open up both of these announcements, there's not much difference. Not much difference at all, if I'm going to be honest with you. So maybe we can do spot the difference. What did I zoom that at? 150. You can sort of see the difference in the first bullet point. So this is the original announcement. So the first bullet point, a repeat order from a European government agency of 8.2 million. And the ASX says, no, you can't say that. What you have to say is a repeat standalone contract from a European government agency of 8.2 million. So is the ASX being a little bit picky when it comes to that particular bullet point? Because it seems like that's probably the only major change. I could be wrong, but it seems like that is the only major change. So what's the difference between a repeat standalone contract and just a repeat order? So obviously the ASX thinks there is a big difference. Now, what was interesting about the trading today, and this is what happens when a company can release a positive announcement, the share price actually drops. In fact, at one point today, the share price was up about 5%, opened at 73.5 cents, went to a high of 74 cents, and actually finished lower. So that just happens when there's just negative sentiment in the company. And unfortunately for Droneshield, that's happened today. So they have to release more positive announcements to try to turn that negative sentiment. And if we have a look at the daily chart, it's in a downtrend. It's in a downtrend. So for me personally, I have no interest in Droneshield right now. When I say no interest, I'm talking about right now. I don't mean for the next 5 years. I'm meaning right now. Maybe in a 3 months' time, share price is turning up. Maybe. But until that happens, I am staying out of Droneshield. Okay. Coming in number 3, Bluebet. These charts, so Bluebet, PointsBet, even BetMakers charts, they all look really good right now. And I don't know why I haven't taken a position in at least one of them, because they look really good. Okay, so Bluebet Holdings. Share price up 5.26%. I thought maybe a little bit more than that. So they did release a trading update. And you know me by now. I love my trading updates. Well, not my trading updates. I love it when companies release trading updates. So this was, and probably the reason why Bluebet is in today's video, because they released a trading update. Go Bluebet. And it sounded positive. I was like, this is pretty positive. EBITDA positive in November, on track to be EBITDA profitable in financial year 25. Financial year 25 second quarter trading shows continuation of strong post-migration momentum, outperformed during Spring Racing Carnival with November net win margin of 12.8%. So positive trading update from the company. The market has liked it, and the chart looks pretty good. Chart looks pretty good for Bluebet. There it is. I do like this chart. Long period, share price going sideways, and all of a sudden, the share price is starting to go higher. The other thing, just take note of the volume. So if you go back to late 2023, there was no volume at all. Look at that low volume. So there was no interest in people selling or people buying, or investors buying, investors selling, and the share price going sideways. Then we started to see some increasing volume, particularly after April. But because of the negative sentiment in the company, share price just kept on going sideways. Finally, I think all those shareholders who had to sell out have sold out. All those negative shareholders who have bought in way back in 2021, were underwater. They saw the share price go sideways. They just got out. They became bored and got out. And because they've sold, there's little resistance moving forward. And that's why the chart is starting to look good. Also, pretty good announcements don't hurt. So I should probably be trading this. I'll say that right now. I should be trading this Bluebet. And of course, PointsBet looks pretty good as well. PointsBet looks pretty good. That's a nice looking chart for PointsBet. And I think even BetMakers, which is not completely the same sort of company, because the other two companies are like bet making companies, and BetMakers, I think they provide technology for bookies, that sort of thing. And even this one is showing signs of turning around. The only thing I don't like about BetMakers is the volume is quite low. Anyway, so that's Bluebet coming in at number 3, releasing one of my favorite types of announcements, a trading update. Coming in number 2 is a company that was mentioned in my comments yesterday. In fact, let's have a look at that particular comment from Nide Side Glide. Actually, there was another cracking announcement today other than Bravura. If I had to compare Bravura to Acusensus, I still would put Bravura well above Acusensus, just because Bravura released a profit upgrade, which you can't beat. You cannot beat a profit upgrade. Acusensus, I'll get into this in a second. The Acusensus announcement is very significant in the evolution of the company. I think in time, there's a reasonable chance that this company becomes a rare Australian technology success story, exporting their products and services around the world. Probably just a matter of time before the company announces major contracts in UK where they engage in various trials. That's definitely possible. I think that's definitely possible. Now, I always believe in looking at the risks. Now, probably one of my faults, if you can call it that, is a lot of times I go way too early to a party. And not a literal party. I'm talking about to a theme, an investing theme, thematic, that sort of thing. It has been I've found it quite noticeable over the last 15 years. When I think something is exciting going to happen, nothing happens for a long time, and then all of a sudden it happens. And I've got a lot of thoughts about what's going to happen over the next 100 years. And I have no doubt, without doubt, eventually humans won't drive at all. We won't drive at all. All vehicles will be automated. And if that actually happens, then this sort of company won't be needed. Their technology won't be needed because you can look at your phone in the car because you're not driving. And in fact, when I go to America, the one thing I want to do is get into an automated cab. They're becoming more widespread. And I think eventually it's going to happen where people don't even buy cars. They don't have to. So I'm not sure when this is going to happen, but it's going to happen. The other thing to note is councils around the world will save a lot of money because you won't need traffic lights. And traffic lights cost a lot of money. The reason I know that is I saw a documentary on roundabouts. And if you ever traveled in the United States, you know they just don't like roundabouts. However, there's this one town, I think it's in Indiana, where they have the most roundabouts per capita. And the reason they have a lot of roundabouts is because the mayor of that particular town, who's been the mayor for something like 20 or 30 years, he actually studied engineering in the UK, and he realized that roundabouts were really good. And for various reasons. They're really good when it comes to traffic, that sort of thing. But one of the things he said, and this was something that really perked up in my mind, my brain, is he said it saves the council a lot of money because traffic lights cost a lot of money. Just the amount of electricity to run traffic lights costs a lot of money. And then in this documentary, they continued saying there's more and more towns, cities in the United States building roundabouts. So they're getting used to roundabouts now. Anyway, so what I'm saying is there is potential, I'm not sure when it's going to be, that the technology that this company is producing won't be needed. Now, I'm probably, again, way too early, so Acusensus probably doesn't have to worry about that just yet. But otherwise, Acusensus looks pretty good. I'll have a look at the chart in a second, but so they released a couple of really interesting announcements yesterday. Well, one really interesting announcement, and then the company went into training halt, by the way, up 15%. So the company went into training halt first at 9:29 a.m. and they announced they were doing a capital raising. And I found this really fascinating. So they announced this capital raising first, and then they announced a few minutes later, 8 minutes later, that they were a successful supplier for New Zealand Mobile Speed Program. And they did provide some numbers here, and the numbers were quite impressive, to be honest with you. So we're talking about estimated value of 5.2 million. That's the statement of work for establishment and preparatory work. Estimated value of the program is up to 92 million New Zealand dollars. So we're talking about 5 cents Australian dollars. I'm kidding. There's not much difference in the exchange rates, I think. Anyway, so 92 million New Zealand dollars over the initial 5-year term. So that's a fair bit of money. And again, if 9 slide guide is right and they get more contracts in the UK, and don't forget, when we look at the chart, you see the share price did take a big dive at the start of this year, I think, and that's because they did not win a few contracts. So I think the market was expecting the company to keep on winning contracts, and there is potential they might not win some contracts, which could lead to a bit of short-term decrease in the share price. But anyway, an impressive announcement, this one, with the New Zealand Mobile Speed Camera Enforcement Program. They've completed the capital raising, so completion of the institutional placement at 12:04 p.m, and that's when the shares started trading again. Share price up 15%. So let's have a look at the chart. In fact, I have traded this before. I'm not trading it right now, and I probably should have got back in maybe about September. So you can see the share price was moving into an uptrend back in February, and then I think on the 27th of February, I don't think they lost a contract. They didn't win the contract. It was either that day or maybe another day. No, that's when I bought in. I thought the market overreacted on that day. I bought in, and I thought the share price would bounce, and then they announced they didn't win a contract on the 4th of March, and that was my sell signal. So I just had to sell on that particular day. Share price did fall for the next about 4 or 5 months. Found a bottom back in August at about 55 cents, and the chart has gone back to looking really good. So I actually do like this chart for Acusensus, and this is another potential trading opportunity. Particularly if 9 slide glide is right, they continue to win some contracts, the share price could increase significantly from here. But also, don't forget, every company has risks. Every single company has risks. And I think it is useful to understand the risk around a company. Now, I might be a little bit, not cynical. My risk in terms of Acusensus may be a little bit far-fetched right now when I'm talking about the next 5 years, but eventually it will. I almost guarantee you it's going to happen. It's going to happen where people won't drive anymore. And the reason why I think it's going to happen, it's going to be driven by councils because they can save a lot of money. And a lot of people will be saved. Don't forget, they really want to decrease the speed limits because it saves people's lives. Well, the best way to save people's lives is either not have people drive themselves, and people won't want that because it's the best way to get around towns, and to overcome that, automation. Yes, automation. Anyway. Okay, so that's Acusensus coming in number 2. The stock of the day, and I went through this. I had no idea which company was going to the stock of the day, and I decided on HMC Capital. This is their homepage. There's no point talking about that right now because I'll be doing that in my standalone video. Anyway, HMC Capital did release an announcement today Share price probably up a little bit, I would assume, up 1.72%. Strategic seed acquisition of Neon. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Neoen Victoria portfolio. So I talked about a lot of renewable infrastructure, if that's what you want to call it, or projects. In fact, instead of going through this announcement, because it's fairly big, I'm just going to go to Capital Brief. I think they did talk about, in one of these announcements, they did go through all the acquisitions they're making. Yeah, so these are the assets they are acquiring. So 4 operational assets totaling 652 megawatts and 6 development assets with total capacity over 2,800 megawatts. Anyway, so I'll go through this, the rest of this particular slide in that standalone video. This company is exciting for various reasons. What they're doing, their assets, their acquisitions, a lot of acquisitions, and the chart is absolutely spectacular. So I won't show you the chart in this video, so have a look at that chart in that sound video, which I should be releasing tonight. Yeah, should be releasing that video tonight. Okay, I'm going to look at one chart for you, and that is step 1. So step 1 was almost a sell for me. So I did take profits in step 1 back in earlier this year. Share price was in a beautiful uptrend for a period of time. So that's me buying some shares at 52.5 cents in August last year. And then the share price went all the way up to about $1.90. I took profits somewhere in here, can't remember what. And I've been waiting for the share price to move into an uptrend. It hasn't really, sort of been going sideways, trading in a range between about $1.90 and the bottom of the range is about $1.30. So I thought if the share price falls below the bottom of this range, so in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to portray this trading range right now. It's pretty obvious. I mean, it's pretty obvious it's trading in a range right now. And it's been trading in a range since March. So the top of the range is about $1.90. The bottom range is about $1.30. I think it's a little bit below that. Anyway, share price got very close to breaking below that bottom of the range. And that was back on the 19th of November. And I thought if it does break below that, that's an automatic sell for me. But we have seen a rally. Share price down a little bit today, but share price was up a fair bit yesterday, up 5.9%. So maybe it's trying to move back to the top of the rally. So to me, this is still a hold. So the remaining position I do have in this company is still a hold because I think eventually we might see the company's share price breaking out. Might be next week, next month, next year, 12 months from now, 2 months, 24 months from now. I don't know. Anyway, I'm okay maintaining position in this company because we do get a pretty good dividend yield. That's the other thing I should mention. Okay, let's have a look at some of your comments. So what I'm going to do is filter this by response. I haven't responded. And what I'll do is respond to some of these just manually, not in a video. So Rick Thellian mentions here 16.3 cents special dividend for Bravura. Yes, no dividend is for free. Reduces growth, a wise man told me. It does reduce growth, yes. So dividends reduce growth, as also reduce innovation. Yeah, that is one of the problems about dividends, because when a company is profitable, when they generate cash in their company, they have to make a decision. The most important decision management have to make: capital allocation. What are you going to do with this money? So we can give some money back to the shareholders, but that won't lead to as much capital growth as what we could get if we kept the money ourselves and invested it wisely for growth. And that's what a lot of companies in America do. It's one of the big differences between Australia and the United States. United States companies prefer to invest for future growth. Some of the other things they can do: dividends, share buybacks, acquisitions. So very important decision management have to make is, what are we going to do with this money? And Australians, because Australians are obsessed with dividends, dividends are very popular among Australian companies, and that does inhibit growth and innovation in Australia. I believe it is and has been a problem for a long time. You might say, well, what sort of innovation can the banks do? And I agree with that. So I'm not really talking about the banks as much. Anyway, so thank you for that comment, Rick Thellian. I'll actually respond to that. I'm not sure how else I'm going to respond to that. Anyway, What else? I'm not going to respond to this one. Which trading platform good in terms of brokerage? Not just yet. Uh, Just James Dean said, Bisalloy going nuts. Is it? Let's have a look at the chart for Bisalloy still going nuts. This one is another case where I think the market overreacted. Share price plunged back in August, went all the way down to 260, and I just wish I had the kahunas to buy some shares then. Because we have just seen the share price move back into an uptrend. It is moving into an uptrend right now. I'm calling it. So I wouldn't say it's going nuts. To me, going nuts would be if the share price went from $3 to $6 in 3 days. That's going nuts. But share price or the chart does look much better for Bisalloy still. So yeah, Bisalloy still doing really well, chart-wise. What else do we have here? Phil In says, your thoughts on BTR chart looking juicy, question mark. BTR, I'm trying to remember if I know this company, BTR. I'd say it's a resource company, so that's what the R is. Something, Brightstar Resources. Brightstar Resources, yeah, don't know why that came to me, but there we go. Brightstar Resources. Is this chart looking juicy? I actually have an uptrend line here. I do have an uptrend line. And the chart is looking juicy. Share price up another 11.4% today. I'm not sure. And look at the volume. Look at really good volume coming in the last couple of months. Really nice volume. In fact, if you look as the share price transition from a downtrend into an uptrend, you can just see an expansion in volume. So again, volume is very important here. You need the market excited about a company for the share price to go higher. You can see in the downtrend, volume was so low. Low volume. The market's not interested. And when we started to see increase in volume, was sort of a sign the downtrend is coming to an end. So people are finding value at those prices. Chart does look juicy. I don't know anything else about this company. I'll be honest with you. Know nothing about Brightstar, but the chart does look good. Chart does look good. Yes, fill in. Chart looks good. Okay, and the last one I'm going to do is Kirat Singh is looking at 3 charts here. Telix, Magellan Financial Group, which I've already talked about today. He says if it stays above 1142, we might be seeing a breakout. I think, yeah, the chart looks really good. I think that's a pretty good trade at this point in time. And the other one was XRF at a key level as well. If it stays above $1.89, possible breakout. Telix, he's mentioned looking strong. Volume has picked up as well. Let's have a look at both Telix and XRF to finish this particular video. So Telix chart looks brilliant. No complaints as a shareholder. No complaints at all. There's me buying at 666, an unfortunate number, but that's okay. Someone actually did mention in somewhere down there that they were surprised that it's not a bigger holding. And I'd say one of the reasons why it's not a bigger holding is because when I did take an original position, I didn't have high conviction in Telix at that point. And you can actually see the share price went sideways for so I bought in October 2022, and the share price went sideways for about 6 months. It went sideways for 6 months. And what I should have done is I should have added to my position on the breakout in April 2023, but I've not. But if the share price keeps on going higher, this will become a bigger and bigger position in my portfolio. And I haven't even thought about taking profits in Telix. I'll be honest with you. I haven't even thought about taking profits in this company. So the chart does look good, down a little bit today, but that's okay. And the other one was XRF. Oh, by the way, volume. Yeah. I probably would like to see a little bit higher volume coming through. I'll be honest with you. Anyway, what about XRF? This is another chart that looks really good. So I am trading XRF. So unlike Telix, I don't have a sell price for Telix. So my sell price for XRF is around about $1.56. So I might raise that if the share price keeps on going higher. I think I did raise this not that long ago. So I probably raised it from about $1.34 up to that price. And the reason I raised it to that price is because we saw a couple of lows here in November where the share price got to about $1.56 and then rallied. So if I saw the share price drop below those 2 lows, that would be sort of a negative sign, and I'd probably take profits in XRF Scientific. I do like this chart. I like this chart a lot. What did Kirat say? Key level, if it stays above $1.89, possible breakout. Well, so it's at $1.90. I would say this, it's all about your definition of breakout, because the share price of this company is in an uptrend. So every single time it gets to a new high, you could say that is breaking out. My favorite type of breakout is when the share price has been going sideways for a long period of time and then the share price gets to a new high. I love those sort of breakouts. So whenever I talk about a breakout or my favorite type of breakout, that's what I'm talking about. This one, it's in a really good uptrend. Really good uptrend. And so no reason to sell XRF Scientific just yet. Be patient. And the last thing is the volume. You can see really low volume this time last year. Just compare the volume December last year to November, December this year. So really low volume, share price really not doing anything, share price now in a beautiful uptrend, and the volume has increased. So volume does matter. Volume is what drives the market. Well, maybe not the market, but does drive individual company share prices higher, or maybe even lower. Anyway, that's all I have for this particular video for December 5, 2024. If you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of this video. And don't forget, I am not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.